Well, here's what you may know about our first speaker, Barbara Khozam. If you read the flyer that went out, Barbara Khozam, I love that name, Khozam, has been consulting, training, and speaking about customer service for more than 17 years. Team Khozam has worked with clients of all shapes and sizes, from the Ramona thrift store to Kaiser Permanente. Through her unique consulting services, Barbara and her team help businesses create cultures of service in which employees become customer advocates. Ultimately and consistently, the results are extremely loyal and happy customers and a profitable bottom line. Barbara is the author of How Organizations Deliver BAD Customer Service and Strategies that Turn It Around. Today's program, you're going to learn how to. So some of the things you will learn will be the three biggest mistakes clubs make with customer service and how to avoid them, how to gain and maintain repeat members, and ways to identify and avoid the most common member turnoffs. Their topic entitled How to Treat Guests at Your Club. What you may not know about our guest is she is the third woman to have earned both the CSP and National Speakers Association in 2019. She's only one of three who have done that. She is also the 14th female to become an accredited speaker. She is in the class of 2014, number 66. And something else you probably didn't know about our guest. In her
Oh,
spare time, she is a fanatic about beach volleyball and plays every chance she gets. You may not know she was in the 2000 Summer Olympics and won a gold medal.
I was?
Oh, wait.
Oh,
It doesn't
I
say
didn't
that
know that.
here.
Oh,
Well, Barbara, you said do whatever I want. I
oh.
have it right here. So, I'm just embellishing a little bit. All right. Please join me in welcoming our guest today, Barbara Khozam.
Hello, everybody. Yay, I love all the hands. I love to see you all. I'm so happy to be here today. I'm going to share my screen with you. I have a lot of wonderful things planned. Tell me if you can see this thing. Can you see my screen? Yes? We have a thumbs up.
Yes.
You can see. All right, good. Hold on a second. All right. Welcome. And it's, wow, 7 to 9 p.m. on a Wednesday. Congratulations for being here with me today. We are going to dive right in. So let's get going. So I'm going to, by the way, be using the chat feature a lot. My first question for you is this, and I want you to type into the chat. Why is creating an extraordinary experience and by the way, I'm going to be talking today not just about guests, but about members as well. So it's customer service all around. But why is it important that we create an extraordinary, can you still see my screen? An extraordinary experience, not average, not okay, but extraordinary. Type into the chat why that is so important. What do you think? Okay. Okay, so you want people to return, good. Guests come back and they join, good. Otherwise, many will find something else to do. That's right. It's memorable. I like that. And people have other choices. Yes, they do. We want to make meetings enjoyable. It's a respectful thing to do. Best way to show value. Yes, these are all very correct. We should offer our best every time we meet. Yes. So when our guests and members have an extraordinary experience, they probably like it. And they probably tell others. And maybe they join our club, and they not only join, but they become officers. You don't have to appoint them when they leave the Zoom meeting. No, they actually offer to become an officer. Oh, isn't that exciting? So lots of great things. Plus, let's dig a little deeper. When your guests have a great experience and a problem arises, because a problem will always arise, they will be flexible. See, if they have this great experience, if they know you care and they've had these great memories, they'll negotiate, they'll communicate. But think about the people, maybe like a guest has an experience that's not so great. It's the first time they visit and they never come back. Have you ever had that happen? Well, why does that happen? We don't know. So when they have a great experience, they'll tell us. So there's lots of great reasons why this extraordinary experience is important. It's great for your club. It's great for you. It's great for your guests and your members. So that's what we're going to talk about this session. I like this quote by this guy named Jack Prim, and that is, service is our only sustainable competitive advantage over our competition. Your members have choices, right? There's lots of choices at Toastmasters clubs. Why do guests and members choose your club over every other club? I bet it's how you make them feel. It's how they experience us. So, and you know I'm so passionate about experience and service is it doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of time to create this extraordinary experience. What does it take? It takes presence. Presence with each person, each moment, so that we don't have a missed opportunity. In fact, here's another quote that I really like. People remember moments, not days. People remember moments, not days. I mean, think about your birthday. Unless your birthday was yesterday, I bet you don't remember every minute of that day. But what do you remember? I bet you remember the phone call from that long lost friend, or that email from your cousin you haven't seen or heard from in a while, that Facebook post that was really specific to you. That's what you remember. It's not the whole thing, it's those moments, because those moments create memories, and those memories are what people talk about. In fact, let me give you an example. A lot of my clients are in the healthcare industry. And so I am a professional mystery patient. I've taken my clothes off for a lot of people. Anyway, focus. So what happened was I was doing a mystery patient visit. I was sitting in a reception office, like the waiting area. A patient walks in and says, "Oh yeah, and last week was my birthday." And the receptionist said, "Okay, fill in the paperwork." But what could she have said? "Happy belated birthday, 29 again, looking good," right? Say something. What if someone says, "Oh, I just got my nails done today." You say, "Oh, purple's my favorite color," right? Say something. See, here's the deal. Your guests and your members throw the bait out at you. They throw it out at you. It's hanging in front of your face. All you have to do is grab it. Grab it, because in the process, you're creating a moment, you're creating a memory, and that's what people will talk about. Pretty cool, huh? Doesn't take a lot of time. That's what I like about it. Okay, so here's the objectives, the order in which we're going to cover things today. I probably have about 3 hours of material that we're going to squish into 45 minutes. So first thing we're going to do is talk about the rationale. We already did this. Wow, that's pretty cool. We're then going to review some important customer service statistics. So these statistics are for corporate America, but we're going to apply it to Toastmasters clubs. Then we're going to learn the 5 steps to wow guests, which can include members. You're going to help me with this part. We're going to learn in the process how to gain and maintain repeat members. And at the very end, I want you to write down 2 things that you learned that you can work on after you leave here. Not 5, not 10, just 2. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about myself. Edwin did a great job of reading my professional bio. I will now share with you reality. So my name is Barbara Khozam. You can call me Barbara Khozam. Telemarketers call me Barbara Khozam. She's never home, and people from Nebraska call me Ms. Shazam. Doesn't matter at this point. But I grew up in Northern California. As you can see, I was a tap dancer extraordinaire. If you look closely at the shoes, you'll see that I spray painted them silver. That's how good I was. Grew up a little bit, went to high school, was a lovely high school person. Some of you are laughing. Roz, you're laughing out loud, really? Wow. Okay. You all have pictures just like this. You just don't choose to show people you don't know. Now, for me, the unibrow was in during that time, as was the perm. Anybody suffer through a perm? Yeah. Edwin did. Yes. Okay. And let's not forget the braces. Needless to say, I had self-esteem issues for 2 or 3 decades, really. Grew up out of this, went to college, graduated with a degree in chemistry, of all things. For 10 years, I worked as a chemist until I realized I don't like it. Quick learner that I am, I quit. But here's where I was, and I don't know if you've ever been in this position. I was good at my job, but I didn't like it. And I'll tell you, if you're in that position, it's hard to get motivated if you can't stand what you do for a living. So I quit without having any future job prospects. Don't do that, by the way. 8 lonely poor months later, though, I became a seminar leader. So for 10 years, I traveled all over the world teaching seminars until I realized, yeah, I don't like that either. So 7 years ago, went out on my own, started my own company. Now I do customer service consulting. So this is a picture of me speaking around the world. This is me at a speaking contest. But here's what I do now, and I love it. So I work with small companies and large companies all around customer service and my business motto, which is bringing manners back to business. Because I truly believe when leaders treat employees well, employees treat customers well. And it's the same thing with us, right? So that's what I do now. I love it. This is my profile picture. Actually, this is my Match.com profile picture. It's also on Tinder and Bumble and Grindr, just for the heck of it. And this is a date that I get as a result. No, I'm kidding. That's my ex-husband. Good. Okay, so let's jump in to these customer service statistics. Okay, and let's apply them to Toastmasters. So look at this first one. Only 20% of companies have a well-developed customer experience strategy. So that means there's no structure behind the customer service. So that means a guest comes to a Zoom meeting and like no one's responsible for greeting them, or they walk in the door and like it's just all willy-nilly. So there's no structure, like there's no one in charge. There's no protocol for customer service. In fact, if we dig a little deeper here, we'll see that what creates a customer experience, it's 2 pieces of the puzzle. It's workflows and behaviors, which create the experience and shape the perception of fare. It's not just someone, oh, hi, welcome. It's workflow, it's structure around it. So when we have these 2 together, now we can get a consistent level and experience of service. And actually, that's what I help my clients do. I help create those workflows. So let's look at our second statistic here. Look at this one. 80% of companies think they provide great service, but only 8% of customers agree. Isn't that interesting? 80% of companies, they think they're all that, but what's not happening, they're not getting the feedback. So that's my question for you. Are you getting regular feedback from your members? Are you getting feedback from your guests? If they come once and don't return, are we asking them? Are we calling, emailing, and getting that feedback? Because we think we're great when there may be some problems. So we need to get that consistent feedback. Ooh, look at this one. Of customers who switched to a competitor, up to 80% said they were satisfied before making the switch. See, customer satisfaction, that doesn't cut it anymore. When people, members, guests are satisfied, that means what? Ooh, satisfied's what? Like, yeah, it was good, you know, it was okay. But satisfied members are easily wooed by clubs that treat them better. So we don't want people to be just satisfied anymore. We want them to be our advocates. We want them to love us. That's why the extraordinary experience is so important. Okay, how about this next one? 70% of buying experiences are based on how the customer feels they're being treated, not how they actually are, but how they feel they're being treated. Okay, I'm going to share with you a story to illustrate this. So last year, my mom and my sister-in-law wanted to go to a restaurant together. So I got a referral, sent them on their way. After they ate at the restaurant, I interviewed each of them separately to find out about their experience. I wanted to know if I needed to refer the restaurant or not. So I asked my sister-in-law, hey, how was that restaurant? And she said this, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, from the moment we drove in, it was awful. I mean, that valet person didn't even parked the van crooked. And oh, the hostess, she was wearing a red dress. Oh, and she was pregnant. And the waiter mispronounced my name. And so she was going on and on how horrible this place was. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. I'm going to write a blog post. It's going to go viral. This is going to be fantastic, right? But then I thought, well, let's talk to mom first, right? So I said, hey, mom, how was that restaurant? And she said, not only was the service good, but so was the food. What? How is this possible? We have two people sitting at the same table, at the same restaurant, at the same time, with two completely different experiences. How is this possible? Well, you know what? I think I figured it out. See, my sister-in-law is kind of a more negative person. My sister-in-law, so she and I actually don't get very, she's kind of very negative and very critical. But what do you think my mom is like? Oh, my mom is a sweetheart. She is the sweetest lady you will ever meet. She and I are very different. So I think what happened is this. I think the staff communicated with them in kind. See, it's easy to be nice to nice people, right? That's easy. The challenge comes in being nice to the critical ones. And I bet you they were acting to her as she was to them. It's very interesting. But I want to dig a little deeper here on this whole feeling thing. I'm going to share with you this picture. I saw this on, I'm going to blow this up for you here, but this quote was on the wall of one of my clients up in San Francisco. Look at this quote. Your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after having an experience with you is your trademark. So that's what I want you to think about. What can you do to have your guests and members leaving with a feeling of positivity? What can you do? In fact, I'm going to share with you a quick video clip that kind of illustrates this. Now, I don't want you to judge the messenger. I want you to just listen to what this woman says. And then when we're done, I want you to type into the chat what made her experience. Oh, but first, let's look at this quote by one of my favorites, Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said. They'll forget what you did. They'll never forget how you made them feel. So that's what I want you to think about. How do we make them feel something positive? So let's look at this video clip. And if you could give me a thumbs up if you can hear it, that would be fantastic. Here we go. It's only 2 minutes.
Let me tell you something. I don't know what military base these people are trained at, but I'm not mad at them. You got 4 people outside with handhelds, okay, under umbrellas. You got 2 people outside the drive-thru to greet you with your food. It be ready. I was in the line 3.5 seconds. That was to order, pay, and get my food. Baby, let me tell you what kind of training they doing. They is in the military in Chick-fil-A. I'm telling you, they have some training that they're doing, and I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them. I don't understand why I go to Popeyes and I got to wait on hot chicken when all you sell is chicken. McDonald's don't ever have nothing working, and don't let me get started on Burger King. Okay? But Chick-fil-A be killing it. They have a military base that they train out of. I'm convinced. And I just appreciate the professionalism. It's hot as hell out here, but they smiling. Cheese, may I help you? Hello, Miss Carissa. How do you know me? Because I told the girl back there, and they communicate. Communication is the key. Fries hot. I didn't even check my bag. And if it's a mistake, then that's what I was supposed to have. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I feel I'm emotional right now because in the day we live, people don't even like their jobs like that. But these people, they are on it. They got a scholarship fund. Go in right over your condiments. They say that they give these people a scholarship fund. Take care of your people. Take care of your people, and your people will take care of you. That's the lesson today. It comes through Chick-fil-A, but this is what's real out here in these streets. I'm about to eat with gratification. I didn't mind paying for that. I didn't even mind. Swipe my card. Swipe my card, Chick-fil-A. I got to see her. These fries is hot. Smoke coming out of them. Look at that. Crunchy. I'm satisfied. I don't even need no more. Oh my God. Every one of them like that. Not just one. You can have it your way. You can have it your way. Thank you. I approve this message. Feliz Navidad.
All right. Okay, so I want you to type it to, I know, pretty good, right? She covers basically everything that I teach in customer service, she actually covers. So I want you to type into the chat what specifically happened that made her so emotional. What happened? Type it into the chat. What do you think? Okay, yes, they knew her name. That's huge. Hopefully, when you have guests, you remember you're using names. Good. They called her by her name. They knew her name. They smiled. They loved their job. I know no one does it even more nowadays, right? Called her by her name. You got that. They customized her experience. They greeted her by name. They could not really. Okay, so you couldn't understand her. Okay, so they treated her with respect. Good. She got it quick. It was hot. What else? Smiling, happy people. Good. What else? You know what else I liked is she said everyone was like that. It wasn't just a couple. Have you ever gone to a meeting? I used to be an area governor. I guess now it's called area director. And I remember going to meetings and like some people would be super nice, but other people would ignore me and but everyone was like that. So, and she said they were professional. I mean, all these little things made her emotional. And guess what she did? That's a viral video. So that's what I want you to think about. Those little things that you think don't matter do. And that's what creates these positive memories. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so let's continue with our statistics. 96% look at this one. 96% of unhappy customers don't complain. 91% simply leave and never come back. So a lot of people say, when I do these in-person presentation, customer service presentation, a lot of people will say, complaints are bad, but hold on a minute, let's think about it. When someone complains, what are they doing? Communicating, right? They're letting us know. Think about the people who are mad what do? They leave and they go to a club down the street. Well, that's no good. Okay, so it's okay for them to complain. Plus, look at these. I have two more statistics on this. 91% of unhappy customers will tell at least 9 other people, and I disagree. With social media, people can tell 9,000 people in a matter of seconds. So we have to be careful, but look at this statistic. Look at this. 82 to 95% of customers who complain return if they're impressed with the company's response. So if someone complains, I can't believe the parking, something, and I say, oh my gosh, I am so sorry about that parking situation. You know what? I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here and participating in this meeting. Let's see how we can fix that for the next time. So it's how they respond. If we give empathy, if we communicate back with a little bit of acknowledgement, up to 95% of those people become loyal. They become loyal. Isn't that awesome? I think that's awesome. All right. Can you tell I'm obsessed with this? Okay. And then I have a couple more here. 55% of customers would pay extra to guarantee better service. It's not about the fee. It's about the feel. So people don't care so much of the dues and the how much of the this, the that. The money doesn't matter if they're getting a good feeling out of this, a great experience. And then look at this last one. 86% of consumers quit doing business with a company because of a bad experience. One bad experience, and 86% of consumers are out of there. So if we think about our guests or our members, where could they have that bad experience? I mean, what is their first touch point? In fact, I want you to type it. I want you to type into the chat. What is your guest's first touch point with your club? What is their first touch point? I want you to type it into the chat. What is it? Since we're doing Zoom nowadays, what is it? Let's see. A website or email. Okay, good. All right, so now it looks like as soon as they log into the meeting could be their first touch point. Good. In your meeting, you greet visitors and tell them hello. Good. You follow up with a chat. People who arrive early to troubleshoot technical problems. Good. Good. So now all this technology is a touch point because we need to look at each one. Your customers, your guests have multiple touch points. So we need to look at each one of them. So for example, is my first touch point a referral? Does someone say, oh my gosh, you have to go to XYZ Club, or is it online or on the phone? Let's say I go online and I can't find your phone number, or I can't find a contact email, and I have to dig down like 6 different pages. That's probably a touch point I need to analyze. Maybe I pick up the phone, someone answers the phone either nicely or not. Maybe I drive in, if it's a live thing, I drive into the parking lot's full. If it's live, I go to the bathroom and the bathroom's dirty. And then, oh, maybe I greet someone either on Zoom or not, and they give me this face or this face, but it goes around and around. Any one of these touch points can make or break it for our guests and for our members. So those are the ones that we need to analyze. So sometimes you need to get in your customer's shoes and go through the touch points yourself and see what it's like, because sometimes we don't know. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to type into the chat. How do you currently greet a guest? Like if you were to have a party at your house, right? If you were hosting a party, what would you do if you had a guest? How would you greet them? I want you to type it into the chat. What would you do? You would welcome, say hello, smile, ask them a question. Isn't that nice? Yes. What else? What else would you do? If you had a party, you're hosting a party, but pre-COVID and people actually came to your house, how would you greet them? What would you do? Have you ever gone to a party at someone's house and like you weren't greeted and you couldn't find the host and you didn't know if you were allowed to have anything to eat or drink? Kind of feels weird, right? So our club greets guests so profusely that it feels almost artificial. This is Roger. It's good on paper, but we have to make sure it's not over the top. Good point, right? We don't want to be over the top. I greet guests at the front door, take their coats, start introducing them around. Oh, I like that, Jana. I want to go to one of your parties. You offer refreshments. Good. Whatever would make them feel like where they are is the best place they need to be at that time. Exactly. By the way, how soon after a guest arrives do we need to acknowledge them? Whether it's Zoom or in person. What do you think? Type that into the chat. How soon? Like 10 minutes. Good. Immediately, 5 seconds, says Michael. Good. If possible, immediately. First thing. Good. So you all know this. It needs to happen right away, right? Especially if it's the first time they're coming to a meeting, some kind of acknowledgement. All right, you got it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to review 5 ways to wow guests. And I'm going to ask you to participate as we go along the way here. So the first thing is the greeting, which we just talked about. So if it's an in-person meeting, you may have the mask. It might be a Zoom meeting. But either way, we're probably going to have to make some kind of eye contact. Now, one thing I've noticed with Zoom meetings is people will look down. Like right now, I'm looking at the camera because I want you to think I'm looking at you. But a lot of people, when they're talking to each other, they'll look down. But then if I'm looking down, I don't think you're talking to me. So it's just sometimes we want to make sure if you're addressing a guest, to make sure you're addressing the camera, especially now with your other members, you could probably get away, but we want to make sure we're doing that. Smiling. A lot of people like to debate me about smiling, but okay, I want you to type this in the chat. Is smiling important? Yes or no? What do you think? Your answers are going to be yes or no. Oh gosh. Smiling, 10 out of 10. It's critical. It's very important. Good. So, and does it hurt your face sometimes? But it's contagious. It's certainly, well, it makes you look younger, I heard. I don't know. But smiling is important. It can be done Zoom or not. Now, handshakes, if you're in person, maybe not anymore. But I'm a big proponent, if it's a face-to-face meeting, of name badges. If not, then on the Zoom, we've got our, I love this about Zoom is it has names. What I would encourage you to do, especially with guests, is maybe put your role, maybe put something personal about yourself, change your name to your nickname, but we could definitely make this, we could take better advantage, I think, of the name situation. You know, like if you have a sergeant at arms, if you have a president or vote counter even, you could change these so easily. It would be nice for a guest to know who you are and what you do, just so they can feel comfortable. So why is it important that a guest knows your name? Why do you think that's important? And why is it important that you address them by their name? Why is this name thing so important? Type it into the chat. Why is this important? Good, they feel recognized. Good, what else? Using names. So they're part of the group. Good, what else? It's a connection, absolutely. Dale Carnegie says a person's name is the sweetest words to them. That's right. The sweetest sound to their ears is the sound of their own name. If you leave this session with nothing but one thing, it's got to be this. Customer experience, customer loyalty is driven by personal connection, by personal relationships, not texts, not people being processed. But two human beings connecting is what drives the customer experience. This name thing is huge. In fact, if you want to set yourself apart from all the other clubs, do this. Use the guest and the member's name. Use the correct name that they want to be called by, not the one you think they want to be called. But if you get this down, oh my gosh, you will blow away your competition. Nobody does this. When I go places, what am I called? Oh, ma'am, ma'am, sometimes sir, mostly ma'am, but it doesn't make me feel special. Okay, so you can up this and by using their names. Pretty cool. Okay, so we already talked about this. What are some ways you greet guests or members at your club? So let's say it's a Zoom meeting, because we're doing a lot of Zoom now. What are some things you can do to greet guests or members? What can you do? Type it into the chat. Oh, I like that. Hi, Barbara. So glad you're here. Thank you, Michael. Oh my gosh, I love that. I like that. What else can you do? You connect memories of them with their name. Oh, that's good, Tom. Right. What else can you do to greet guests and members? Okay, is that it? We're going to say hi, use their name. All right, that sounds good. I'm going to test you on this later. Okay, so let's look at the second step in how to wow guests. Step number 2 is to inquire. So that means you're going to ask questions about themselves, about them. And then you're going to what? Listen. Okay, and to listen, we're going to make eye contact. But then we're probably going to need to inform them. We're probably going to have to educate them. So here are some possible suggestions with guests in particulars. Maybe give or send them a guest packet. Do you do this? You could send it ahead of time. If you know a guest is coming, you give them all sorts of information about your meeting, like the meeting roles. Most Toastmaster meetings that I've been to when there are guests, you're really good at describing the roles, you know, what the roles are, why they're there, explain the agenda. But one of the things I want you to consider as well is the language, the acronyms. Do you know that Toastmaster has a lot of acronyms? You realize this, right? Guests have no clue what you're talking about, right? Oh, I just became a DTM. Oh, okay, well, I got a DUI. So, you know, what are we going to do about that? Okay, so the acronyms are a big deal. In fact, here's an example. This is a healthcare example of acronyms. My mother passed away actually last November. So most of last year I was in and out of the hospital. So one time I remember I was in the emergency room. The nurse walked up to me and said, "Your mother came in as an SOB." Okay, now I have a different definition. I think she meant shortness of breath. Okay, I did not know that. And then she continued and she asked, "Does your mother have a PCP?" And I said, well, I don't know about that, but I saw a bag of THC laying around. Okay, so we don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so same thing with guests and members. Be careful of the acronyms. You've got a lot of them. Now, digging a little deeper here, we're going to set clear expectations. The number one reason for all complaints, and this is in your personal life and professional life, number one reason for all complaints, unmet expectations. So what do we need to communicate? We need to communicate what is going to happen. We need to communicate when it's going to happen and why we need it to happen. One of the common complaints of customers usually is around follow-up. They didn't follow up. They didn't call back. They didn't send the email. It's about time. But you know what? It's not waiting. It's not knowing about the wait. This is a total miscommunication. So let me give you an example. I hear this a lot. Oh, you know what? Let me look into that and I'll get back to you later. Later. But when is later? Is later 5 minutes? Is that 5 days? That's a miscommunication. How about this? Oh, you know what? I'll get back to you by the end of the day. Oh, really? My day ends at 2. What time does your day? That's a miscommunication. So even simply saying, you know what? Someone will get back to you no later than 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. In fact, if you don't hear anything by 5 o'clock tomorrow, then I want you to give me a call. My name is Barbara. Here's my number, and I'll continue looking into that for you. That's more specific. Okay, I'm going to say this next sentence probably 5 more times. The more you explain, the less they complain. Okay, the more you explain, it's pretty good, right? The more you explain, the less they complain. When you fill in the blanks, you can eliminate complaints. If you think about it. Think about any fight you had with anyone in your life. Why did you have that fight? You had the fight because you didn't know what was going on, right? So what did you do? You made up a story. You made it up. Oh my gosh, why didn't he call me back? Why didn't he call me back? I know it's because my hands are too big. I have man hands. No, he's in Africa on a safari, you silly girl. Okay, so when you fill in the blanks, the more you explain, the less they complain. Okay, pretty cool. And then what I want you to do is look for the unexpected extra step and take it. Look for the unexpected extra step. So that means when a guest or a member is talking and they're saying something like, wow, you know, I've got this meeting coming up in 2 weeks. I'm really nervous about giving my presentation. Okay, that's something you can help them with. You know what? Well, I know you've got that meeting in 2 weeks. Well, here are 2 tips that can help you prepare. Okay, so it's listening to what they're saying and then acting on that. Pretty cool. I like this quote. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Okay, you've all heard this, and this was by Theodore Roosevelt. Or I also heard that Mark Twain said it, and I also heard John Maxwell said it. But you know, I just said it, so maybe I said it. So you know, who knows? All right, cool. Step number 3 in wowing guests is involve them. So get them involved. So I don't know if it's in person. If they're in person, you'll have them sign a guest book, right? You're going to leave name, numbers, and such. If it's virtual, you're probably going to get their name, their email, their phone number, so you can follow up. I particularly like this one, especially with guests at the beginning. Have them introduce themselves. People come to Toastmasters in general because they're afraid of speaking in public. So ask them to introduce themselves. How did they find out about the club? Tell them a little bit about. Have them participate in table topics if they're up for it. If they're not, then at the end, ask for their opinion. Barbara, what did you think of our meeting? We would love to get the feedback. So now they're starting to participate, starting to get the hang of speaking in public. It's a nice way to get them involved. Okay, so now I want to hear from you. What do you do in your clubs for extra steps, or what do you do to get your guests involved? What do you do? I want you to type it into the chat. What is it? Okay, the last 3 comments you explain. Oh, so you do the last 3 things. Oh, good. Okay. So you have them introduce themselves, table topics, ask them to introduce themselves at the beginning, provide feedback at the, oh, good, good, perfect. Okay, what else? Get the information, follow up with them. Good. Follow up is crucial for these people. Try to really talk before they dash out the door. Yes, good. Try to grab them before the Zoom meeting ends, or you could direct message them and give them your contact information, right? Okay, what else? Include in table topics, ask how they heard about Toastmasters and feedback. Good, perfect. So you've got it. So you're getting them involved, because I got to tell you, when I was the area governor/director, I would go to meetings and guests would come and go and not say a word. And I always wondered, I wonder if they're going to come back. You know, like they weren't involved at all. They just sat there and they just kind of looked at the agenda, and no, I mean, people said hi, but they never ever stood up or said anything. So I always wondered about that. I think the more involved, in my opinion, the more involved you get, the more they'll want to join. Step number 4, is laughter. Oh my God, is it okay to have fun in these meetings? Yes, please have fun. Make evaluations helpful and supportive and fun. They could be fun. Oh my gosh, laugh. Oh, I read a statistic, and it said that children laugh on average 300 times a day. Adults, 15. It's depressing, right? In fact, you know, I was going to tell you a coronavirus joke, but it would take 2 weeks to see if you got it. Connor, are you paying attention? Okay, anyway. Oh, he's going to read me for that one. Okay, and then watch their body language. Okay, these guests, when you're using the humor, watch their body language during the meeting. I mean, if they look like this, what kind of message does this send? What is, you know, concerned, anxious, constipated? What kind of message does this one send? His knees hurt, his back hurts, but look, this is reality. Can you see the tagline? It's the painless cure with a happy ending. Do you get it? Nothing? No? I don't know. I'm trying, Connor. I'm trying. How about this? What message are these people sending? What is it? Is it love or happiness? And why? Because they're smiling, eye contact. What is he saying to her? Yo, Edna, I got the Viagra, but she's hard of hearing and thinks they're going to Niagara, and she's super happy about the trip. Yeah, that's too much. I know, it's over the top. Okay, and then finally, step number 5 in ways to wow your guest is follow up. Oh my gosh. So before they leave, tell it, what is the next step? I will follow up with you, or you will follow up with me, or so-and-so will send you an email, or so-and-so will do this, or click on this link. But that needs to be clear. What is the next step? Set a time for follow-up so you can answer questions. You can send them the application. I like emailing or calling within 24 hours. If you wait longer than 24 hours, out of sight, out of mind, they forget about you. And I like mailing. I like it when people mail physical, do you remember thank you notes, like the paper ones? Yeah, no one gets those or sends those anymore. And then add them to your communication channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, newsletters, getting them on there. The more you get them involved, the more they can follow up. Okay, now it's your turn. I want to hear from you. What are some other things you do in your clubs to wow guests and members? So type it into the chat. I want to hear some new ideas here. What do you do? And you're like, yeah, we're super excited about this. Okay, what have we got? When we could meet in person. Oh, you had parties when you were meeting in person. Yeah, that's good. I heard that there's one Toastmaster group that meets from 7 to 9 p.m. That's a wine drinking one. It's called Winos and Women, or I don't know what it's called. But they drink wine during their meeting. I wouldn't be able to talk, but yeah, refreshments. Invite them to social events. Okay, what else? Jazz hands. I like jazz hands. Good. If there is a coffee time, have time to chat, talk, and connect. Okay. Guests often comment on the camaraderie. Right. Give them Toastmaster ribbons. Invite them back. Give them a call later that day. Email, invite them to the next meeting. Connect them with them. Oh, I like that. I like connecting them with a member like the buddy system or a mentor. That's a good way to get guests to join, is to pair them up with someone. I like that. What else? Anything else? Log in 15 minutes early, chat, stay after, ask if there's any questions. Don't just log off right away. Good. So come in early, stay a little late. Ask them, you could ask them specifically, hey, Mark, it was great seeing you in the meeting. I would love to connect with you afterwards or answer any questions you have. Any of that stuff. Okay, so you can't go wrong. And you know what? Go to other meetings. You get great ideas from just going to other meetings as well. I know that's what I did when I was very active. So let's do a quick recap of what we talked about here in this presentation. So an extraordinary experience applies to, what do you think goes in the blank? What person, blank time. What do you think goes in there? This applies to some people sometimes. No, it applies to every person, every time. Good. Not to the nice people when I'm drunk. No, it's every person, every time. It starts with a personal what? What goes in this blank here? It starts with a personal connection. Good. Whew. All right. The more, I said this line like 3 times. The more you something, the less they something. And these 2 words rhyme. The more you explain. Good. The more you explain, the less they complain.
Less they complain.
Good. And then people don't care how much you blank until they know how much you blank. What goes in here? People don't care how much you know. Good. You
No, until they
got
know
it.
how much you care.
Good. And then finally, last one, have jazz hands. No, have fun. Oh my gosh. So what I want you to do, you don't have to do it right now. You can do it later. I want you to write down 2 things that you learned from this presentation that you can implement. 2 things. And it might be simple, like, I'm going to tweak my name. I'm going to tweak my name in the Zoom and make it be a little bit more specific. Maybe that's it. So just write down 2 things you're going to work on, write them down. And if you have questions, get help. You can, how I look at anything in life, if what I'm doing isn't working, I try something else. Ask for help. So here's the good news. The good news is that you have guests. And the even better news is that when you treat them right and they have a great time and they leave with a great feeling, they become a member, and that makes everybody happy. And it makes you feel just like this. A kitty cat. All right, we are all done, everybody. Yay, thank you so much for being here. Yay, most of you stayed awake. That's exciting. All right. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Barbara. That was an awesome presentation. Magical. I'm still going to call you Khozam because I just love that magical sound of that. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Anybody have any quick questions for Barbara before we move on to speaker number 2?
Okay, I see a question from Michael. How do we balance without overdoing it? What do you mean by that?
I guess it was shorthand, Barbara. Well, sometimes it's like, it's so overwhelming. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? I'll have someone call you. Do you want to come to our next meeting? Do you want to join? And it's like, oh my God, we get so intense.
So you know what? What I found to be successful is when certain people are responsible for certain activities. Like I'm going to be responsible for sending a follow-up email and you're going to do the phone call. And like, I don't do it all, and because this is what I've noticed when I'm a guest is sometimes when I come in and I ask people, well, who's responsible for greeting them? And they say everybody. But if everyone thinks they're responsible, guess who ends up doing it? No one. So break it down to what those little tasks are and then you assign it to people. Then it's not so overwhelming.
I didn't mean overwhelming for the club members. I meant for the guests.
Oh, for the guests. Well, you know what? Overwhelm them.
If 10 people invited me to join and 8 people called me and I got 10 emails.
Yeah, no, that's too many.
Run fast.
No, that's why we're going to have like one person's going to email and one person's going to call. You're right. Not 10, just the ones that we make responsible for that. That would be better, I think.
Excellent. Do we have another question for Barbara?
Okay, I don't know what John Jack Brennan means. Do you have to be paid to get the info? I don't know what that means, but I like to be paid. I don't know. So if you want to clarify, John Jack Brennan.
Jack, do you mean to be a member? Do people ask that? Do they have to join to even find out about it?
Do they have to be a member to visit a club? Is that what you're asking?
Do they have to be a paid member to get the general invitation to the meeting?
I don't think so. Not in.
Some people have told me that. So, okay.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. No. Well, not in the clubs that I've been to.
I think that's what the person who invites them has to be very clear.
Right.
Hey, no problem. You don't have to be a member. You can come as much as you want, up to whatever you want to say.
Right. Yeah. Some people say you can come up to 6 times before you become a member or something.
No,
but
that's
it's all about the expectation. Like set the expectation up front.
That's great. We're afraid to do that sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, hey, you've been coming for 22 weeks. It's time to join.
No. I can't go to the gym 22 weeks in a row for free, right? Why would I do that? No, No, you don't want to devalue it,
Ooh, guys, that's a great. Thank you, Barbara.
It's a valuable organization, so we don't want to just say, oh, it's free. No, it's not free. No.
We normally allow 3 visits and then we tell them, okay, do you want to join? So, but we do mention it to them.
Okay, good. Perfect. Cool. All right.
All right, excellent. Very good. Thanks so much, Barbara. We really appreciate you visiting us here. And you're actually not too awful far away from us, right? No. You're somewhere in San Diego County?
Yeah, I'm in Escondido.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in Murrieta, so we're practically neighbors.
Oh, yes, we are.
All right, very good. Thank you so much.